So it's 5 p.m. I'm calling this meeting of the Wakefield Youth Council to order. I hope you're all doing well. I'm going to start with attendance. Catherine, would you mind just keeping an eye on the waiting room? I think I assigned you co-host.
Yeah, Lauren, let's give it like one more minute.
One more minute? All right.
Yeah, because people are just joining and getting settled.
Okay.
All right. Just wait another about 30 seconds and then you can probably get started.
Sounds good.
I saw our guest come on and then.
Oh, yeah.
Where did Mrs. Cokinda go? Oh, here she comes. She's coming back. All right, just another few moments and then you can get started.
Did anybody play in the snow during the blizzard? I played in the snow with my dog. It was pretty fun.
All right, Lauren, I think you can get started.
All right, sounds good. All right, so it's 5:02 p.m. I'm calling this meeting, the Wakefield Youth Council, to order. I hope you're all doing well. I'm glad you're all here. I'm going to start with attendance. I'm here. Yana.
Here.
Ali.
Here.
Thomas. Not sure if this is here yet. Nick Polari. Let's see him. Uma.
Here, sorry.
Paige McGibbon.
Here.
Josh.
Here.
Sophie.
Here.
Nivea. Nivea's not here. Ellie.
Here.
Jenna. Not sure if Jenna's here yet. Nick W. is here. He might still be connected.
Here.
Hi. Tegan. Let's see her yet. Madeline.
Here.
Charlotte.
Here.
Paige Arkansas.
Here.
Matt Conley. Not seeing him. Bella. I believe Bella might have Winter Guard. Juliana.
Here.
Megan.
Here.
And Marie.
Here.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. I'm very excited.
Lauren,
did
you see Nick Polari joined us?
Yes, I did. I got
Okay.
that. All right, let me pull up the agenda. All right, so next is public comment. Is there anybody here from the public wishing to speak? I'm not seeing anybody. All right, so we're going to move on to approval of the minutes. Ali, thank you for writing those. You did a great job. Did everybody get a chance to look it over? Any questions on them? All right, do we feel ready to approve them? All right, awesome. Yana?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Do I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from our January 21st meeting?
I motion.
Thank you, Yana. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. All right, now I'll call the roll. I got excited. Yana?
Yes.
Ali?
Yes.
Thomas isn't here. Nick?
Yes.
Uma? I think Uma was a yes. I didn't hear. Josh?
Yes.
Paige?
Yes.
Sophie?
Yes.
Ellie?
Yes.
Nick W?
Yes.
I don't think Tegan's here. Madeline?
Yes.
And Charlotte.
Yes.
All right, so that passes
And
unanimously.
Marie.
Oh, and Marie, sorry, I don't have her on my list yet. Marie,
Yes.
thank you. So that passes unanimously. Marie, I'll add you to that list. All right, next, it's very exciting. We have a presentation from Miss Kokinda. Did I say that right?
Good job. A lot of people don't get that.
Thank you. Sophie, do you want to introduce her? And then she can get started with the presentation.
Yes, this is Erin Kokinda. She is on the Economic and Community Development Committee. She's here to make the presentation just kind of about like what they've been doing recently and some of the projects.
Awesome, thank you.
Well, hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I've heard great things about your group. I know I've met Nick before. He's helped us at the town do our styrofoam band video, and Paige is now on our master plan committee. So it's so nice to see the rest of you, and I look forward to hopefully meeting you guys in the future. So it's just easier for me. I do have a presentation that I continuously update, and I thought that would be the best way for me to kind of run through the work that I do with a number of folks here in town. So I think I have, let me see. Can you guys see that?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay. Let me just get this. So, as you'll see, I have not updated the date there from a year ago, but trust me, all the information is updated. So yeah, my name is Erin Kokinda. I am the Community and Economic Development Director for the town. I've worked with Sophie, and we've met, and I kind of gave her some updates of the work that my office does. I'm a team of one here, but work really closely with Jen McDonald, who is our Communications and Marketing Director here, as well as Bill Renault, our town engineer on planning efforts, and a number of other folks throughout the town. So today I'm going to touch upon, how I help our business community, also in regards to kind of any planning initiatives that we have here in town, as well as the number of grants that we've received over the last year to implement some of these different initiatives. So I actually just started last November 2020, so I'm still fairly new to this position. This job was a new role, and it kind of merged the town planner job previously, as well as this new role of Economic Development Director and Community Development, which is great because a lot of it goes hand in hand together. So this kind of just gives you an overview of what this position does. It helps Wakefield to compete regionally for economic development, shapes its strategies and goals, maintains and analyzes data reflecting the effectiveness of town activities and promotion, and aims to increase the town's commercial industrial tax base. So this job has been really exciting. Like I mentioned, it's a new position. So, it's been a huge learning curve, but I've learned a lot in kind of how to merge some of these positions together. And previously, I worked for a nonprofit doing economic development work in the Burlington Lowell area. And prior to that, I worked for the city of Lowell in their economic development office. So, some of the groups that I work with to kind of further Wakefield in regards to economic and community development is a number of planning agencies. MAPC, the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, they are our region's planning council, so they help us with a number of initiatives. On the top of my head, I can't think of how many towns and cities are within MAPC's region, but I know it's over 100. So I'm part of a smaller subcommittee of the North Suburban Planning Council. So that works really closely with the town of Reading, Stoneham, Melrose, Winfield, Wilmington, North Reading. I think that's all of them. So we meet every month discussing different sort of planning and economic development initiatives. I also work with the Boston MPO, as well as our central transportation planning staff. That's kind of under the NPO. As you probably all know, prior to COVID, transportation and traffic it still is a big thing. Our traffic patterns have changed. So just trying to stay on top of that. On the economic development side, I work with a number of groups, Mass Development, which is kind of the financial real estate arm of our state government. The SBA, which does a lot of small business assistance at the federal level. The Mass Small Business Development Center, they help small businesses at the local level. There's a number of branches here. The one that represents Wakefield is up in Salem State. Work closely with the Mass Office of Business Development and a number of projects there. And Mass Hire, our career center, to connect any larger employers here that may be looking for employees, or vice versa, people looking for jobs. And then, of course, I work with our local organizations. We do have the Wakefield Winfield Chamber of Commerce. I talked to John Smolinski, the executive director there, on pretty much a daily basis, as also Wakefield Main Streets. They're an organization that helps our downtown. And if you see the banners downtown, that they have the winter theme now, that's from the Main Streets group. Another thing that I work with is CoStar Group. It's a subscription for me to find properties for any new businesses that are looking to locate in the area. I also keep an internal business database and intake of anyone that might be looking to locate here, or might be looking for growing and looking for larger space. And then, as I mentioned before, I work internally with a lot of the groups. Tomorrow I have a meeting, with engineering, building, our town administrator, gas and light, and DPW. So we all work really closely together on a number of initiatives. So some programming that I've done and implemented over the last year is a small business resource webinar. We had a number of those groups that I just spoke of come and explain the services they offer, especially during this time during COVID. Small businesses need more support than ever. So we hosted a webinar last year, which was very successful. We also hosted a grant program last year for small businesses, up to 10 businesses, to receive $2,000 to implement more digital marketing in their business. And that was really successful. Some folks that didn't even have a website presence were able to use that money. Last year, we also did a planning study of down by where the Civic Center is, that vacant building down there, and looking of ways to best utilize that property and properties around it to drive more economic development in that area. And so I think things are going to start moving there, hopefully, and getting either a new tenant or some new development in there. And then this fall, I hosted small business virtual office hours. Small businesses in the region were able to sign up to talk to the Mass Office of Business Development and the SBA to see what any new programs they have. And I also do a newsletter that goes out quite frequently, just updating businesses of resources that are available. Other business support I provide, we do have on our website kind of a step-by-step how to open a business here in Wakefield. So you'll find that on our site, and I always direct people there. Another way I was able to help businesses over the last year, prior to COVID, there was a new bylaw in place that bans styrofoam and plastic bags and utensils for businesses. So we've been working really closely over that the last year to help businesses be able to implement that in their business. It's been a little trying because of supply chain issues. And then I don't know if anyone on this group here helped us with the outdoor dining, which was really exciting and cool. We were able to paint some of the town's barriers to create these outdoor parklets, restaurant or dining areas outside. And I think that was a huge success, and hopefully, we'll see at the state level what they say, but hopefully we can continue doing that. And then also we had 2 events to support businesses and drive economic development and business development in our downtown this year. We had, which you're all too young for this, but maybe you went, your parents went, and you guys hung out by the lake, an Oktoberfest on the lake. As well, in the fall, we had a Fall in Love with Wakefield community fair, where we had a number of small businesses and makers there, a community expo with trick-or-treating, a touch-a-truck, and a number of other things. So, just trying to drive these events and these different initiatives to help our small businesses kind of get through this time, and just in general. And then some planning initiatives that I've been working on over the last year too is our Vision 2030. So Councilor Chines, who's on the call, really took the lead on this, and I kind of came in at the tail end of when we really started to move it forward at the fall of 2020. So it was a visioning practice to kind of have a group of folks group. I have a committee of folks that got together and had some public meetings to decide what the vision of Wakefield's going to be in 10 years from now. It was a great session where we got to hear back, community session where we got to hear back from a very diverse group of people. I believe we had 3 or 4 public meetings that touched on a number of topics: land use, zoning, open space, housing, transportation, you name it. We kind of talked about it all and what people would like to see for our community. And we worked with MAPC on that. And from there, we were able to get a whole report, which you can find on our website. And I'll be happy to share that after if anyone's interested. And then after that, we're just
I was
starting
going to say, Erin, just before you move on to the next thing, I do want to say you're far too modest about your role in the Vision 2030 process. Erin was just a critical part of that and did just a tremendous amount of legwork to get that moving forward. So before you left that and before you maybe downplayed the work that you did, I wanted to make sure everyone heard just how tremendous it was to have you involved in that effort.
Well, thank you very much. It was a group effort between Councilor Chines, myself, and Jen McDonald here, who's our community and marketing content manager, director for the town. So it was a group effort. It would have been accomplished without us all working together, but thank you very much. And so from there, it seemed like the next best step was having a master plan for the town, kind of taking what we learned from the Vision 2030 and having a larger document to really strategically plan a strategic plan and kind of some framework of how I move forward and the community moves forward in planning for the future. So we just started this process. Paige was on our first call. We had our first advisory group meeting. We should be having our first public meeting in April. So if some of you want to attend, once I have a date, I'll send it to Catherine that she can send around to the group. And the first topic, 2 topics we're going to be talking about is land use and zoning and open space. And so you can see all the topics here of what's going to be discussed through this whole 18-month process. And then after this, we'll have a large document to kind of guide us as we move forward. And then last but not least, housing is always a big topic of conversation, and there's more coming through the pipeline now that I'm working on internally here to get that some guidance from the state that's kind of coming forward. So we had a housing forum in the fall, just discussing housing in general in the community and moving forward. And then I'm talking a lot. And then just a number of other things I've worked on is a few grants in partnership with a number of folks here in town, a shared streets and spaces grant. That's from the state, just trying to find ways to kind of engage our streets and spaces more. The money could be used for anything for some outdoor dining and sidewalk dining, or kind of reconfiguration of roads, signs for wayfinding. So we received 2 grants last year on that. Also, we received a local rapid recovery planning grant, which was a grant to kind of give us a report on how to best support our small business community, specifically to Wakefield. So I have that as a tool as I move forward to apply for other grants to support our business community. And then we also received 2 other grants last year through the state, the Community One Stop for Growth. The 2 grants we received are MassWorks and Community Planning Grant. The MassWorks is to do, it's not too exciting, but it's important, some water infrastructure improvements to support development in town, but also upgrade it. Oh, and I lost it. Maybe that's my sign, I should stop talking soon. But, and then the last thing is the community planning grant. We received some funding through the state to do our master plan. So that was great. We have the support from the state there on that. And then the last thing, I just applied for a grant through the Mass Office of Travel and Tourism to do a Shop Local campaign. Keeping my fingers crossed that we receive that funding, because it's something with the local rapid recovery program that I heard from small businesses that they'd like to do some shared marketing and advertising. So keeping my fingers crossed that happens. So that's kind of a brief as I could be, overview of the work that I do here. I'm here to answer any questions that you all may have. And if you have any ideas that you'd like to see from the community, I'm all ears and always here to listen. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was a great presentation. Very, like you said, very brief, but very thorough. And I do have to acknowledge the hard work that you're doing as a one-person job, especially with COVID and everything is changing. I don't know how you're doing it. So on behalf of the Youth Council and Wakefield Youth, thank you. I feel like this is a job that often goes very unnoticed, but it's like you're an unsung hero. So
thank you.
we
Very nice.
recognize your work.
Such a good way to end my day. I appreciate
Of
it.
course, it's true. Does anybody have any questions? Any thoughts or anything? I think one thing I was kind of thinking about was how can we best support the work that you're doing from a youth perspective? Especially like I mentioned, with your work and COVID changing, how can we best support you?
So that's a great question. And what I'll say is attending the public meetings that we have, especially with our master plan process that's coming out. I know it can be kind of daunting and scary, but now with being on Zoom, it makes it really easy. And also a lot of times we have the chat feature going. So if you don't feel like talking in front of people, you still can throw it in the chat, and all that information is really helpful. And I think hearing from the youth that, have grown up here or new to the area, and, you have a whole different perspective than, we all have different perspectives, me as a young family, and then people that have lived here forever. So I think as much feedback as we can have from a diverse group, the better document and framework that we'll have to move forward.
Awesome. We'll keep that in mind, and we'll try to be good about promoting these meetings to really reach a diverse audience. And I feel like diversity is a key to success, especially in something like this. So awesome. Thank you. Does anybody have any other thoughts, questions? Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it.
I just wanted to thank Erin again, and thinking too, I'm looking around the screen. I know a lot of our youth also work at some of our local small businesses. I see, several of the youth, I walk in and see them in Sweet Bay or in Meltharbs or these different small businesses too. So they're, youth being part of the economic development of our community is important because they shop locally. I know my own 2 middle schoolers are always on their feet in downtown Wakefield, spending their little money, and same with our teens shop locally and work locally. So I think it's a great partnership with the Youth Council.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's a really good point, Catherine. I mean, the continuous of shopping locally, supporting our small businesses, and anything, there's a lot of things I'd like to see in our downtown or commercial districts. But if you have any ideas, it can be as creative as you want. I've had some wild ideas that I'd like to see in some of the vacant storefronts. There are funds out there to support, creative activity. So I'm always, I'll leave my email. Catherine has it. Hopefully it can be shared, but I'm always open to hearing new things. So thank you.
And thank you, Sophie, for reaching out to Erin to bring her here. Is there anything that Sophie, you've learned about what she's doing, or that her office does that you found interesting or surprising, or something that you'd like to point out?
Yeah, what she mentioned earlier, the outdoor dining, when I can't remember what those things are called, but the things that they painted, I had no idea that was her committee doing that. And I always, whenever I saw them, I thought they were super cool and like really pretty. And I was like amazed that they oh, I think I muted myself halfway through, sorry. But I really was surprised when I found out that was our committee, but I was like amazed. I thought they were really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, the whole idea of placemaking is a really big topic. If you guys want to Google that after, I'm always trying to think of new ways to kind of engage, again, our commercial districts, whether it be those outdoor dining spaces, or at the library, we did the Adirondack chairs with the Boys and Girls Club, but there's a lot more that I think we could be doing with small amounts of dollars to kind of make the downtown commercial districts more engaging. So
that's a great idea. I think
this could be a project for you guys. If you think of anything that you'd like to see downtown, like I said, there's funds out there to implement these things, and a lot of it can be just small dollars. So
yeah, and I know, and just to follow up too, the Youth Council has been involved in the Safe Routes to School project, and so they've done a lot of assessment, and I know some things are moving forward with your department and engineering. So we'll be continuing on that front too. So
Yeah,
thank
it's a really
you.
good show. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. All right. So next up on the agenda, we have the community cleanup subcommittee update. And Madeline, so we had our meeting last night and a few people attended, and we were able to really make some headway on this project and how we can create these funds that we promised for the Veterans Day cleanup. So Madeline is our spokesperson of the subcommittee, so take it away.
Hi. Okay, so what we decided on, since we have, I believe, around $1,400 to raise, is we're going to start with a coin drive in all the homerooms, starting with just Galvin. And then for like, it doesn't matter how much money someone donates, they'll get materials to make cards, which will be given to the Wakefield veterans. And then the homeroom in each grade that raises the most money will come up with like a prize for them. And if any more funding is needed, then we'll start a GoFundMe. And that was kind of the basic like gist of what the plan that we came up with last night.
Great, thank you. Catherine, do you have anything to add to that from what you and I talked about today? I think she might have covered it all.
Yeah, I thought that was a great idea. And I actually did some research and found these cool cans that we can customize for not much money. So I'll work with the committee to support you. And I think the next steps will be setting up a meeting with the Galvin Middle School principal and maybe all the Galvin youth council members. We can make that happen. So Madeline, maybe I'll reach out to you separately about initiating that email with Principal Webb to initiate. But great work, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, Madeline. Any questions or comments about this project? And it might seem a little bit rushed. We're trying to be thorough, but also keep the timeline in mind because we want to have it set by March. All right. Anything else to add?
Oh, and I just did want to update that Marie is now the liaison with the Veterans Affairs group. So she's going to be communicating with David on our updates. So thank you, Marie, for stepping up and doing that. And it works out because she's a Galvin student too, so she'll be able to help.
Perfect. 2 in 1. Thank you, Marie. Ellie, did you have something to add?
I just had a question. I know I couldn't get to the meeting last night. I feel so bad. So even if we do raise the 14,000, was that the goal? I think. Is there still a way that the public could, or like the community could still be involved, even if we don't start the GoFundMe, or like if we meet the goal just by the coins? Is there still some way that me or like some other of us could be involved? I was just wondering.
Yeah, that's a really good question. To be honest, I haven't even thought about that. Catherine, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, great question, Ellie. Yeah, we could ask David, so we could have a coin collection somewhere in a place where people could chip in, so we could look into that. So there's a general place where young people, if they don't go to the Galvin, can contribute. So we can look at what space that would be appropriate for that. And then what we also could do is ask David from Veteran Services, maybe Marie can do this, is find out where can people donate to this if they'd like to, because there might be a link or something. I know he's meeting with his fundraising committee because they have a fundraising goal. So maybe Marie, you could look into this for us and I can help you with that. But great idea, Ellie, because that's true. The Galvin.
Well, yeah. That's perfect. Thank you so much. I was just, because I love writing cards and I would totally be willing to write some veterans cards. So if there was some place that we could drop them off or even put them in like the main office of Galvin, that would be totally fine. I was just wondering. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any ideas?
Maybe we can even have like a donation box if we wanted to still go that route. or a drop off place for cards like at the library or at like town hall. So then we can kind of get everybody involved. That's not directly related to money, because that's not some people like not something that everybody can do. But this is a way for people to still get involved. Awesome. Thank you for asking that, Ellie. All right. Anything else? Anything that I can answer, that Madeline can answer? Nothing?
I just wanted to say that when this does get set up, I think that this is something that the Communications and Outreach Subcommittee can really work to promote on our social media platforms.
Yeah, for sure. And we can also, Megan, with the PTO as well, making families aware at the Galvin and things like that. Awesome. Anything else? Yeah, Charlotte, go ahead.
At Galvin, I've done like lunch announcements before, and we could like write something up to be put on the school announcements. Like I've spoken on like just in the cafeteria, and also like on the announcements that they do every morning and in the afternoon. So we could do something with that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And maybe that's something that we can bring up at the meeting with the Galvin principal as well, so we can get that approved. But that's a really good idea. Megan, did you have something?
Yeah, once we have something written, if you guys could share it with me, then I can get it in the newsletter and we'll be good to go.
Perfect. I like it. All right. This is such a great project. I'm so excited. Any other ideas or thoughts? All right. And Ali, that was a great way to lead us into the next agenda item. You were going to give us an update on the Communications and Outreach Subcommittee.
Yes, thank you. So hopefully, if all goes according to plan, the Communications and Outreach Subcommittee will have a meeting on February 10th at 5. And I really want to focus on how we're going to continue with our social media pages and other ways that we can connect with our Wakefield youth, like if that's in the newspaper, or different ways that we can do that. And I know that at our last meeting, Ellie brought up working with WCAT, so we can utilize that, especially like promoting different things. For example, the fundraiser that we're going to do. So yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, so if anybody, sorry, I just kicked my printer and it is making noises now. If anybody wants to go to that meeting, you don't have to officially be on the committee. If you want to just jump on for a few minutes, we'd love everybody's input. Yeah. Any other thoughts, comments, or questions that Ollie can answer? Awesome. So it's next. Ollie, remind us of the date again. I think
yes, next Thursday, February 10th.
Yes, at 5 p.m.
At 5. Yes.
Awesome. Cool. All right. So next, to go with our theme of updates, Juliana, I'd love for you to give us an update if you're able on the snow angels. And then Catherine, if you want to chime in once she's done.
Sure. We have quite a few volunteers, but we do need more in the Greenwood area, because there seems to be quite a few seniors over there who don't have kids to shovel for them. Other than that, the turnout has been really good, and we have enough coverage over the rest of the town.
Great, thank you. Catherine, do you have anything to add to that?
Just a couple of things. One, first of all, Juliana, thank you for all of your hard work. She is amazing. She texts me every time we have a new, or messages me when we have a new volunteer sign up. Judy Luciano at the Council on Aging has been recruiting the seniors and everything. So we have a good thing going. We have a shared Google Doc to match the youth. We have a Google Maps with all the snow angels, the actual snow angels and the seniors on them, that we matched everyone with someone that lives near them. So it was, and the first storm was a doozy. So the fact that we only had one house that was missed, and my 8th grader jumped in yesterday and shoveled them out. So it was a good first trial. And yeah, so thanks everyone. My only request is I'm going to send the youth council remind if we are in a pinch and we need someone to be shoveled out. So if you all wouldn't mind mind sending back to the remind that say, yes, I can, or no, I can't. Cause we were in just there, we had a couple houses we need to, but I just want to thank, cause like Isabella jumped in, Yana signed up. So, but most of them are youth that are not associated with the youth council that just signed up on their own. So great job.
Awesome, thank you. And I've heard that we've received some pretty great feedback with this initiative as well. And I'd like to echo what Catherine said about Juliana's hard work. We would not have been able to do this without her. So kudos to Juliana and the whole council as well, because we've all been promoting it. And also I'd like to echo what Catherine said about kind of jumping in when needed. That's really important. Yeah, does anybody have any questions about the Snow Angels that Juliana or myself or Catherine can answer? Awesome. And I think this is something that would be awesome that we continued throughout the years. Maybe we can do something similar in the fall with leaf raking. Not sure if there's anything in the spring or summer that we can do, maybe watering plants or something. But I think this is a great way to get the youth involved with the seniors and kind of tie the whole community together. Great. Awesome. All right. Catherine, do you mind giving us a COVID update?
Okay, yeah, sure. I just didn't know if any other people had liaison updates.
Oh, I totally missed that. Thank you.
Okay, that's okay. I know there has been some work with some of the youth council members and their liaison, so I didn't know if anyone had any updates.
I know last meeting, Yana, we had talked about maybe having somebody from the Human Rights Commission come to our next meeting. Is that something that we'd still like to do?
Yeah, I would love to ask her. I'm meeting with her, Lindsay, this Friday, so I'll give you an update then. But I'm
Awesome.
going to ask her if she can, and I'll text you or like email you if she says yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mhm.
Does anybody else have any movement with their liaison positions? Is anybody not connected still? All right. Good. So it seems like most people have some sort of relationship. So Yana, we'll plan on, let me know if Lindsay can come. And if she can't, I'll email some other people and see if anybody else wants to do liaison presentation. If something comes up and you'd like to present at our next meeting or have your person come or your committee come, just email the youth council email or myself or text me and I'll get a spot for the agenda.
Hey, Nick Walczewski, do you think we could get Dan McGrath, the rec director, to come to an upcoming meeting?
Yeah, I think we're working on a meeting up next week, so I can talk to him about that when we meet up.
Yeah, because that would be great, because I know there's some upcoming initiatives and the new pickleball courts and things like that. So if you could invite him to an upcoming meeting, and also there's also opportunities for youth to apply to jobs with the rec department. So it'd be great to promote that as well.
Okay, that sounds good. I can work on with that this week.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other liaison updates? All right, cool. So if you have any ideas for people that want to come present, or if you want to give a presentation, just reach out and you can do that at our next meeting or one of the upcoming ones. One thing that I realized I forgot to put on the agenda is having somebody write the meeting minutes. So I know it's a bit late in the meeting, but you can watch the recording. WCAT's awesome about putting it up really fast, so it should be up within this week, if not early next week. I sent out the template to everybody, I believe, but if you want me to resend it, I'm more than happy to. Would anybody like to volunteer that hasn't already to do the meeting minutes?
I can do it.
Was that Uma?
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. So Uma, I'll be in touch with you about that. And if you have any questions or concerns, let me know. So thank you for stepping up to do that.
No worries.
All right.
Thank you.
Of course. All right. Catherine, Would you like to give us a COVID update now? Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, so just really brief, the rates are coming down. They're about where they were in mid-December, but still there's a high level of community transmission. And also we're seeing a lot of young people because of the Omicron variant. The schools in DESE in Massachusetts is changing from test and stay to the at-home testing option. So that's something that's going to be rolled out this week and next week. So if not, it's an opt-in policy. So parents have to opt in, and then students will be sent home with tests once a week. And then through an online form, they report if there's a positive test. So hopefully this will take some burden off the school nurses and a lot of the test and stay, the close contacts. So it's a big shift. So it'll be interesting to see what the next month looks like. But on the positive case numbers are going down, but our in our office is still doing contact tracing, but that's only contact tracing if we know about it, if that's through a PCR. So if people do home tests and they're an adult in the community, we really don't know about it. And those aren't included in the state numbers. So you can look at the state numbers and know those are probably double or even more than double, because we just get reports on the PCRs. So not the at-home antigens, but so things are changing. We're trying to, hopefully in the next couple months, we'll start to see mask policies change and other things, because we call it like the dial, where we have to turn up the dial when the rates go up, and then we turn back the dial on policies when things settle down a bit. So hopefully we can relax some of those policies. That's about it.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions about COVID or those changes? Charlotte, go ahead.
I don't actually have a question, but I have to head out for swim now. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for coming. Good luck. Anything else about COVID? I know that I believe that the Board of Health is hosting a booster clinic. I think it is this weekend. The date February 9th is sticking in my head. I think that's
it's next week at the Herd School.
Awesome. I'll probably work on promoting that.
Yeah, I mean, it ends at 3:00, but if you can always, if you have to get out of school early to go to it, or you can book one of the clinics at 2:30, 2:45, one of those appointments. Promote those for students anyway.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Anything else relating to COVID? All right, not seeing anything. All right, so I just want to remind everybody of our next meeting date. So we did decide that our regular meetings are going to be on the first and third Tuesdays of every month. This way we can kind of schedule our outside lives around it, and it will just help us keep our momentum going. So our next meeting is going to be Tuesday, the 15th. And we did decide that 7 p.m. was going to be our regular time. But a few of us are on the Warrior Logo Committee as student representatives. And at least next week, the meeting is from 6:30 to 8:30. And then I believe the following week when we're supposed to have our meeting, it's also at the same time. So that's why I pushed today to today to 5 p.m. And I'm planning to push our next meeting on the 15th to 5 p.m. Mr. Chines, go ahead.
I was going to say, I just had a couple of quick kind of announcements, but I'll let you finish what you were talking through, Lauren, and then just whenever you're ready for me, let me know.
Thank you. That's really all I had. Does anybody have any questions or concerns about the regular meeting time? And also meeting more regularly gives a little bit more flexibility that if you have to come late or jump off early, that's okay, because it'll be easier to catch up since we're meeting more regularly. All right. Anybody have anything? All right, Mr. Chines, go ahead.
No, thank you. Just a couple of announcements that I wanted to share, just that might be of interest to everyone on the call. The first is the Permanent Building Committee is meeting tonight to finalize our submission to the Mass School Building Authority for the first stage of the feasibility study for a new or renovated high school. So the way the process works is at this stage where we're basically submitting to them 11 potential designs that include a renovation of the building where it sits all the way to a whole bunch of different options for a new facility. The purpose of this submission is to kind of lay out these 11 different options and effectively to kind of narrow the options down to 3. So that's what we're submitting this week. And then over the next 3 months, what we'll be doing is kind of taking those 3 options and then narrowing them further down to, a single preferred schematic design based on the evaluation that the project manager does, the recommendations of the building committee, and also feedback from the community. So I wanted to mention that because those meetings are open to the public, and if anyone has any interest in learning more about the project or providing any feedback, just encourage you to pay attention to that. It really, I will tell you, as someone who's on the school building committee, it's really interesting to kind of sit through this. I've learned a ton just about building projects in general. And it's also exciting to think about, what the facility can look like, even knowing, at least for the folks on this call, it probably isn't something that directly affects you guys, certainly something that I'm excited to see for the next generation of students. The second thing that I did want to mention is for any of the seniors in the group, just a reminder that if you do turn 18 before April 26th, you are eligible to vote in the annual town election. And so if you do have a birthday coming up between now and April, the deadline to register to vote is April 6th at Town Hall. So just wanted to put that out there for anyone who's old enough to do that.
Oh yeah, Lauren, that's a good point. I know the Youth Council is put forth a lot of information around voter registration and when the registration deadlines to vote in local elections. So that would be great. We can communicate that. And what time is the permanent building meeting tonight?
That's at 7 o'clock tonight. And typically their regular schedule is, I believe, the 2nd and 4th Thursdays of the month. But that'll be on the website as those get kind of lined out. This is a special meeting tonight because the submission to the school building authority is due on Thursday. So we have to meet before we can submit it.
Okay, and just to clarify, 11 designs are going forward, or you're choosing?
So the submission includes some preliminary evaluation of 11 different designs. And then what the submission does is it recommends 3 for further evaluation over the next 3 months that will then be narrowed down to 1. The 3 that are recommended, one we're actually required to recommend under the school building authority's process, which is just basically like a code renovation of the existing high school, fixing what's broken, addressing ADA accessibility, making sure the roof doesn't leak, all of that stuff. The second is a more comprehensive renovation and expansion of the current facility. And the third is a scenario where we would build a new school building where Beasley Oval is today. And then when the old school is demolished, we would move the oval to that site. So those are the 3 that we're recommending the MSBA allow us to continue evaluating, to then kind of get to a place in May, June, where we would then say, of these 3, this is the one that we want to see move forward for a full design.
Great, thank you for that update. And Ali, I'm hoping that maybe we can promote the voter registration. So maybe that's an agenda item to start thinking about, because I think April's going to come a lot faster than we think. So maybe that's something we can put on the agenda for Thursday.
Yes, definitely. I'll add that to my list.
Perfect, thank you. Mr. Chines, anything else?
That's it, just other than to say thank you to everyone for all the great work that you continue to do.
Well, we learned from the best, so thank you.
I'll take that as a compliment for Catherine.
Both of you. All right. Does anybody have anything else?
Lauren, Madeline has something. I'll let
Yeah,
her go.
Madeline, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and this is from a few a few points ago. Catherine, you had said maybe connecting Principal Webb to the, like, inviting her to an upcoming meeting or connecting with her. And I was just emailing with her the other day, so I didn't know if you wanted me to email her like after the call or tomorrow, or if you wanted like to also like connect and stuff like that.
Yeah, Madeline, why don't you maybe you and I can touch base offline and we'll talk about, but I will have you take the lead on emailing her. And then we want to make sure it's a time that some of the other Galvin Youth Council members can meet after school. So yes, but I will definitely have you take the lead on that. So I'll text with you offline.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for doing that. And then Lauren, I just wanted to mention that the Safe Streets Initiative. Lauren, were you going to talk about that?
I was, yeah.
Okay.
Swaying on it. Thank you. Thanks for reminding me because I probably would have forgotten. So the Safe Routes to School or Safe Streets, that's a program that the Youth Council worked with last term. And it's really just to provide, it's such important work to make sure that everybody can get to school safely, whether that's walking, biking, or driving. In this committee, they take a look at particularly dangerous intersections or areas of town close to school that may prevent somebody from getting to school safely. So this Thursday, it's a little bit last minute notice, February 3rd at 4 p.m. The Safe Routes to School Committee is going to be meeting at the Greenwood, Oak Street, and Green Street intersection to talk about potential dangers that Greenwood students face heading to school. So what this would entail is that you'd walk around, kind of talk about the dangers and some solutions that could come about, and then also potentially design some changes. So this is something that would be great for our committee to have some representatives because it affects the youth, but also no elementary schoolers are on our committee. So if anybody lives in that area and is familiar with it, I would definitely encourage you to go. And if not, I'd also encourage you to go. I'm unable to attend because I have a doctor's appointment, but I would love for some people on our committee to attend. Catherine, did I miss anything that you want to add?
No, I think this is Safe Street, so it includes
Gotcha.
not just youth, but adults too, and like people use that area to commute to get to the train and things like that. So it's the Safe Streets Working Group, but youth input is definitely needed and desired. Does anyone live in that area? The Oak Street, Greenwood, that whole area? I think Isabella does, but no one else lives in that area. Okay, I'll send the information out about the assessment via the Remind app.
Great, thank you. Does anybody have any questions about that? Awesome. All right, anything else before we adjourn our meeting? This was like packed full. I love it. All right, anything, thoughts, questions? All right, so just a reminder, next time we'll meet is Tuesday, February 15th at 5. I will send out the agenda and the minutes to look over for approval before the next meeting. And Uma, I'll be in touch with you about the minutes. Thank you again for stepping up to do that. Yeah, awesome. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn our meeting?
I motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to call the roll. Ali?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Uma?
Yes.
Thank you. Paige?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Sophie?
Yes.
Ellie?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Madeline?
Yes.
Charlotte? Oh, sorry, Charlotte left. It took me a minute. And Marie.
Yes.
All right, so that passes unanimously. Thank you all for being here.